Well, I've just come in from the woodland garden, still clearing up after storm, whatever it was called, because one storm follows another here pretty quickly, here in the west of Ireland. And I've managed to get a huge amount of work done, clearing up, cutting back, rearranging, repotting. The noise you can hear is Patsy down there having a wee bit of a lunch. I wanted just to say something about this particular time of the year, because I know that so many of you will be feeling down and depressed or overwhelmed or anxious. And the way that I deal with it is, first of all, I follow the Celtic calendar, which is very cyclical in terms of being hand in hand with Mother Earth. So we're coming up to the solstice, the winter solstice. In fact, that is midwinter in the Celtic calendar. So the days are very short. I'll tell you what I do to get through this. I go to bed early, so I'm in bed for about 9 o'clock-ish, and I get up long before sunrise in the morning. So I'm up for about 6:30 or 7. And that way then I'm managing to get most of my indoor work done before the daylight actually comes through. And then by the time the daylight strikes, I'm able to go out into the woodland gardens and get a huge amount of work done out there. Now mainly it's cutting back, it's clearing up, it's harvesting wood, it's harvesting kindling, and then it's getting everything ready to set the stove for the day. So that's the early part of the day. Then it's walking Patsy. Try to do a 2,000 step walk, 2, perhaps 3 times a day. Always plan to, do the most I can. Here she is. You see, I mention her and up she comes. She says, I want to be in this video, Mum. Anyway, in the evening, because the evening starts really when it starts to get dark again, which is usually about 4:30 or 5 o'clock. So I make sure that I have a certain amount of handicrafts on the go. So a little bit of knitting, a little bit of sewing, maybe a crossword puzzle, a Sudoku puzzle, a really hard one that's going to really, confront me in terms of my intellectual abilities, or just my patience. And put a DVD on. I don't have television. I put a DVD on. Usually it's one that I've watched quite a few times before, in which case then I'm just listening to it really. And it's a nice little background kind of monologue or storyline going on, And going to bed early, I don't necessarily go straight to sleep. I'm reading, I'm relaxing. I have my hot water bottle, I have my hot chocolate or my Horlicks. I have a vegan Horlicks there, and it's just nice, or a cup of tea. It's just nice to cozy up in bed and have that little luxury of looking after oneself. So anyway, that's my advice for getting through the winter. And the Celtic calendar is very uplifting, because by the end of January, you're looking then at Imbolc, which is 1st of February, and the first day of spring here in the west of Ireland. And already the signs, you can see the signs there. So the way that I look at it is, okay, this is now mid-December. There's another week and a half or whatever to midwinter, the solstice. And then I'm going from there through January, and I think to myself, January, oh my goodness, this is like I really have to squeeze so much in January, because if I don't get all the work done, by the time the 1st of February comes in Imbolc, everything's growing again. and I'm running around like a headless chicken trying to, you know, what work do I have to do today? So, yeah, a busy life. And there are ways, even if you don't live in the countryside, if you live in the city, in an apartment, there are many, many ways to keep oneself busy. And I know when I lived in London, and because I lived in London at one point on my own, and there wasn't a huge amount to do. It was before I got an allotment. So I worked each Saturday in the local charity shop as a volunteer. So that kept me busy. But yeah, keep busy and keep setting a pace for yourself, you know? And just remember to say, please subscribe. It's one click of the subscribe button and it's free. And it would be wonderful if you did. And if you liked the video, why not press the like button? Again, it's free. It's just one click. That's it. Enjoy the video, my friends, and blessings to you all. Now, Pats, we've got things to do. I think I've got a cup of tea to make. Yeah, I think a wee cup of tea would be rather nice. So as you can see from the clock here, dawn comes in pretty late in the west of Ireland. It's almost 8:30 and the sky isn't completely bright yet. But what I do is I go to bed early. So I'm normally in bed for about 9 o'clock and try to get up long before dawn. So at least I have the household chores done before I set outside, you know, to get all the heavy work done. And as you can see, Patsy relaxes. So it's light now, and I'm just out filling the bird tables, the bird feeders. Yeah, because of course the birds are all waiting around me for their breakfast. It's a lovely time of the day. I absolutely love being out early in the morning. And here I am getting set to with redoing this area. So I've had the tree all logged up. My son came and did that for me, but of course he's left me the logs to move. Go on, mother, you can do it. Yeah. So I'm getting all the logs stacked over in the tunnel, and I'm going backwards and forwards with them. I just thought I'd stop and show you this beautiful Honesty lunaria. Most of the seeds have been scattered. Yeah. So thank goodness for wheelbarrows. So I've been, doing all kinds of stuff. Here's some of the logs now that I've stacked in the middle aisle. And just getting on with tidying up as I go and cutting and pruning. I've got masses of work in front of me. But I've got to say, it's all good, healthy work. And surely that's why we were given bodies, healthy bodies that we have anyway, you know. And just going backwards and forwards, I take little strolls like down to where the badger set is. Yeah. And then looking up from the badger set towards the tunnel. So, I don't have anyone here to film me as I work, and there's no point in setting the camera up because I'm moving around all the time. So just to let you see how I'm moving all the logs which are down at the bottom of the driveway. These have been sat there for quite some time, so they're a bit wet. So I'm doing 4 big containers at a time, emptied one, and then getting them over to the polytunnel in the wheelbarrow, so I can manage about 1 container with each run because it's quite heavy to lift and push. And you know, to be honest, I have always suffered with a dodgy lower back, although I haven't given it any oxygen at all, I can tell you. I just get on with it. But it's a good thing too to know your limits, you know, and don't actually aggravate things. So this is what I'm doing now this morning, which is Sunday morning. So I've moved the blue bench around here, and this is just one of the stacks of branches from the Korean fir. Now I'm going to have to find a place to stack them, because if I try to even think about burning them, I mean, they're just going to go up like really in flames because of all the oil in them. So I'm going to stack them and make another habitat pile for little birds. So this is the stump of the Korean fir. Had to actually take it right down to base because tried to save part of it, but then it was lopsided because the mound isn't sitting back where it was. So much clay has fallen into the hole. So my plan is to make a feature of the mound and build up some stones around it. A lot of other cutting back to do, like this Senecchio, which is outgrown itself. So surround it by stones, like a little stone wall, and then plant it out. So I'm just sort of, you know, seeing what it's going to look like with various plants that I have in pots. Because last year I did a container garden out the back here. You can just see the remnants of it over there. But the thing about a container garden, unless you start with huge containers, you're going to have to keep repotting. Like this beautiful holly here is going to need repotting or planting. So I have a notion to plant out a lot of the plants in containers and then replant the containers with more small plants. I think that's a plan, don't you? So I spent a fair bit of money yesterday. Went into town and bought 2 new rakes because there's a lot of raking up to do. I've been raking up around the door here. So both of those rakes are needed for different kind of raking. But my word, almost €50 for 2 rakes. Gosh. Anyway, has to be done, has to be bought. Tools are essential for the upkeep and maintenance of any woodland garden, and especially when it's sort of, I like to call it semi-wild, in that the wildlife come first. Oh look, there's a blackbird up in the roof, look. He, I think it's a he, let me see, get close. Yeah, it looks like a he. Yeah, absolutely, look, black, yellow beak. He's waiting to come down onto the bird table to have a little bit of breakfast. Yeah. And there's the bird table there, look, see? Yeah. For those of you who don't know about Bealtaine the Cottage, this was the cottage on the first day that I saw it, 20 years ago in 2004. And my delight has been doing it up over a long course of time, 20 years. I'm still in that process. But planting a woodland around it has brought me great joy. And I'm quite sure has brought Mother Earth great joy as well. It's a wonderful place to live now. And it just shows you the transformation that can be done in 20 years. I don't know what's stopping all the politicians, really.